the Shining Ones, Skills on the Platform. This is the weekly oracle read for the signs, the water signs. Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Alright? Now, water signs, what came out for you this week is Binah. Binah is the Sephiroth, one of the Sephiroths, okay? The key word is understanding, okay? So this is what water signs you need to focus on more, is understanding. I mean, a lot of people possibly have an understanding, something that's within themselves that they understand certain things, and then there's an overstanding, and then you have an understanding, okay? Now, you may have the overstanding of things down packed, you may have the understanding of things down packed, but you need to learn how to understand as well, all right? Because you can't be one without the other three. I mean, it makes you complete, it makes you balanced when you have all three. You have an understanding, an overstanding, and understanding of things that you're dealing with on a consistent basis, okay? Now, the understanding is the last of the three highest spheres, okay, of the tree of life, sitting at the highest point of the tree's left pillar. It is the polar opposite of Shakohama, with energies that correspond to negative female, darkness, yin, and the passive, okay? So, Binah is also to be a reflection of the light from Shakohama. Now, obviously, it's the opposite of Shakohama, which we understand is the negative female, darkness, which is the yin. The male is the yang, yin and yang, all right? A lot of people already know this particular degree of knowledge, okay? What we got to understand, there is several degrees. You know, masonry typically goes up to 33 degrees because they've only been given limited knowledge. They'd only been given enough knowledge to be able to run and control the planet until the ones that left the planet in their custody, right, for a time period, while the illuminated, you can call them the shining ones, while we slept, right, and now we're waking up to be able to come back into control and to begin running things, okay? Now, also, Binah is also said to be the reflection of the light from Shakoma. The generation of these two into the divine spark forms all life in the universe. Mother/father energy. Okay? So you have the feminine and you have the masculine energy. Okay? Which forms all life on the planet. Right? This is two different energies coming together to form life, whether it's a male or a female, okay? Everybody already knows that. Now, when Binah appears in your reading, you are asked to meditate upon the qualities that Binah possesses: passive understanding and intuitive contemplation, okay, are key elements to better understanding the solutions to your questions. Listen, we as people, right, we tend to, everybody has, people that they lean towards. They have certain individuals that they favor more than others, right? which is, it's okay. It's cool, right? Now, the thing about it is this. If you listening or only getting knowledge from just one point of view all the time, you're incomplete. You have to seek knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right, from a variety of different sources. What we got to understand is that the knowledge of the planet is scattered all over the place. Okay? So it's not in one area. You will be lopsided like a dwarf, right? Or lopsided like a hunchback, right? Where you're incomplete. You're not fully functional. Like, think about the movie Spartan, right? They would discard all the children who were considered lopsided, deformed, or any way, shape, and they would discard the child at birth. A lot of people may think it's wrong, right? But that's just how it was at the back in the days at that point in time, right? Maybe just a small period of time that was actually happening, right? Then there are people who came in and said, no, that's not right. But nonetheless, the reason why the Spartans did that, they only wanted the best of the best. That way you can create a complete warrior who's able to fully function and do multiple things at one time and not just be one-sided, right? But, you know, we've at a point right now where we're at a point where the stronger does defend the weaker, right? And that's just pretty much how it is right now, which is okay. I think that everyone has a chance to be able to grow in life, whether you are considered, you know, mentally challenged or disformed. Everyone has a chance. Everyone should have a chance to be able to become something, because they can become better over time. That's without a doubt. Right? Some just may not have that ability, and that's all right too, as long as there's somebody there willing to take care of the people, right? Who can't do for themselves. That's why a lot of things been put in place, right? Now, Binah appears in your reading, as I mentioned. You are asked to meditate upon the qualities that Binah possesses. Passive understanding and the intuitive contemplation are key elements to better understanding the solution to your question. So intuition, right? Now, intuition is that thing that tells you, like, okay, this is not right or this is wrong. And 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10, your intuition is always correct. It's like that first thought you get to not do something, and then all of a sudden other thoughts start coming in and sweeping in and flooding in, and then we go against our first thought, our first mind, which is that intuition within ourselves. See, here's the thing. The flesh is not perfect. I don't care who you are, what you look like. You know what I mean? You could be a bodybuilder, you could be a model, from the person that's, you know, doesn't work out at all, to the person that's considered obese, right? Essentially, there's no one really better than the other, right? You can say that the person is better. Only difference between the Olympian, right, someone that's a bodybuilder, and someone that doesn't is that bodybuilder focuses on his or her body. It's a ritual for them, in a sense, right? Where they focus on that. Whereas the person that's considered obese, they can be in that position as well if they were to focus on that, but clearly it's not their focus. So essentially, if that person, right, for example, this is how you could prove no one's better than someone else, based upon what they do, right? The Olympian could be in a position right now where they are pretty much great body shape, great shape. You know, they're considered a bodybuilder. Everybody loves them, right? Because he or she has a great body. Then they consider the obese person as fat and sloppy. They don't want nothing to do with that person, right? Now, something can happen in life where the Olympian has a situation happens in that Olympian's life or her life where they lose all of that. and then they become fat and obese because they can't maintain their consistent workout and training. But then the obese person decides to change their mind and become a bodybuilder and change their life and just become that perfect specimen, right? Now you're gonna say, would you say that person is better than the Olympian? No, it's just that person changed their mind and did something totally different, right? You know, everybody can class it as better or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Everybody thinks, you know, a certain way because society has put it into their people's minds that, you know, everybody's has a perspective and things like that. What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong, okay? Simple as that, right? There's no a perception of what's right, a perception of what's wrong. Simple as that, right? There's no arguments there. Also, so intuitive, passive understanding and intuition. You're contemplating on your intuition. That first thought is correct, but then we get caught up in other thoughts with different people, and then we get scattered all over the place. Now we don't know where we are originally, right? We just kind of lost our position. Now we're just all over the place, right? Now, so water signs, focus on that intuition. It will not steer you wrong. When you know something is not, like, here's the thing, right? When people doing certain things, right, they know, and the first thought is like, man, that's not right, or you know what, this is gonna work, right? You know, off top, everyone has this, even children, but children are not developed, so they're gonna kind of just, you know, they can easily be swayed in different directions. But adults know, like, there's no excuse for no adults these days. Adults know what's up. They can deny it or try to say, oh, they didn't know. It's a lie, complete lie. Now, also, I was trying to keep this short as possible, not do so long, but you know, spirits move me to keep going, till I can get through this. Okay, so balance is called for. Generationally, due to lack of benign energy in one's life force. So that's the problem with a lot of people today, is they're not balanced. That's the reason why you got all this ruckus going on the planet. You have all this sickness and madness going on. People are just acting like they can do what they want to do instead of following strict ways of doing things to come out on top and accomplish certain things in life, right? They want to go out and just do whatever they want to do instead of following a way of doing things, because, excuse me, everything has a way of doing it, a path, right? Typically, people say that there's several paths to do several things. That's where the foolishness comes in, right? You can say you can skin a cat, you know, several different ways. You know, there's several ways to die, whatever, right? Now, that's one way of looking at it. But when it comes down to accomplishing something, let's say, for instance, flipping houses, right? There's only one or a couple ways to get it done. If there's a couple, there's usually one way to get it done. There's a process that you have to follow. And the ones that do it follow that strict process to be able to push out consistent flips. I just use that as a terminology because I'm familiar with that. Okay? So, you know, for instance, to have children, there's one way to have children. You have to mate. That's just what it is, right? So people just coming up with these things because, you know, society has brought people to the point where it's like, oh, you know, I can do whatever I want. I can do this. You got to really get to the point where, no, you got to really start to grow up and realize that there's certain ways to do certain things. And then there is things that you can do in other ways, but typically you're trying to destroy when it comes down to it. All right? Let's move on. Balance is called for generously due to lack of Banah energy in one's life. Focus on the traits of Banah and allow them to balance you. Once again, balance is the key word for today, water signs, to take away from this. Balance, okay? Then look again at your situation. So if things is going all over the place, it's because your mind is all over the place. You're not focused on one thing. You need to focus on one thing at a time. I'm not saying that you can't do multiple things. You can. Initially focus on one thing at a time. We live in a duality, right? So if you're thinking, the scriptures teach that a double-minded man is unstable in his ways, right? It goes for man and woman. If you're double-minded in your thinking, you are unstable and you're not fit to lead anyone. You will destroy yourself and everyone that's in your control. This is why a lot of foolishness is going on in the world right now. Also, you may find an answer that previously did not exist when you look at things from a balanced state of mind. Okay? So, balance is the key for our water signs. All right? For this week. Focus on balance, y'all. If things is out of whack in your life and you're wondering why things are not, it keeps going out of crap, it keeps going out of whack, nothing's going your way, it's because you're not looking at your intuition. You're going against yourself. You are fighting yourself, and that's why things are not getting done. Right? But that's it for our water signs. Peace.